It's
Now we're getting more and more modern. I like it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
so interesting because that's what I was saying at the beginning. It's like this lets you give you the freedom to compose once you've mastered once I mean people think that, oh, why should I learn an old system because I cannot, but you're proof that you obviously can write modern sounding stuff. You were very
yeah,
modest. You were saying like it's not avant-garde, but honestly, this I like you were saying, like 20th century Shostakovich, Prokofiev, Stravinsky. I can appreciate that sort of modern. There's a lot of modern that I don't really like, but anyway, why don't you talk about this one, this prelude and fugue? Oh, clearly, this is not the Baroque style, right?
I had a little bit a depression moment some years ago, pair of years ago, and I decided to to during the depressive moments I improvise or try to 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 take creativity from the depression, from the melancholy, and of course here I decided to publish my first two compositions I published because I consider them worth of publishing, and I'm very self-critical, of course, and so I tended to destroy many
Mm.
things I composed. I started to compose very, very, very young, but then I suspended composition because after Shostakovich, after Stravinsky, after what is possible to do, no? So, and so it's only possible maybe to do something that are imitations, but then when I became older and more mature, or more, why don't use my language, that is a language maybe of 100 years ago, in a new way, with my experience of repertoire, of course, of early repertoire, and so for me, contrapoint, you understand. After all this speech is very important, and I wanted to came back to piano. I studied piano. My just beginning was as a piano student. I had the luck. I was lucky to study with the first student in Bologna of Benedetti Michelangeli, Arturo Benedetti Michelangeli, the first degree by him in 1941, which was a very severe and very hard woman, and and then she didn't want to. I followed with my piano studies when she discovered. I started to study organ in the same Bologna Conservatory, and she was very angry with me, and see, she decided that I couldn't study anymore piano, and then I never finished my piano studies. But then, of course, my piano experiences are as listener. I love the research on the historical performing practice. So I listen a lot of piano rolls of pianists who lived and recorded before the First War, normally, or just after the First War, before when they played with spreading hands, with arpeggio, and with a very different cantabile way from the modern pianism. And my harmonical experiences on piano touch are those of Russian school, Bartok, maybe. I don't know. I don't know, because I really try to improvise as I feel now, without to think too much formally. I'm maybe a formalist. Of course, I love the best, for me, the most important keyboard compositions of the century. They are the 24 Prelude and Fugues by Shostakovich.
Mm.
I love Shostakovich. I consider him maybe the best, the most complete, the best, the most incredible composer and musician, maybe after Brahms until today. But of course, also Stravinsky is very difficult to make comparing between.
You're right.
So big genius, but the language of Shostakovich is a little bit more near to me, more irrational, more passionate, and of course, not everything of Shostakovich is near me, but the period after the travel to Leipzig for the Bach competition, the Bach Fest. I have here a beautiful book about the Bach Fest, Leipzig of 1950. When he came back to Moscow, and he wrote these Prelude and Fugues in very few days, in some weeks, and as improviser, with the most important keyboard counterpoint after Brahms, I think, and in any case, the most expressive. So this Prelude and Fugue, the piano Prelude and Fugue, I published 2 Prelude and Fugues, and I'm writing a third one. I promised the publisher to give also a third one. The first 2 were written. The first written was this, and 2 weeks later the other. This is for piano. The other is for harpsichord or clavichord or piano. I personally played on harpsichord, on a rare historical piano, and it functions very well. The second one, and also the clavichord. But this is just for piano. On the rag kafi, so Indian mode is of course is the less idiomatic Indian mode because it's the same of Dorian mode. There is only a little bit more important the second degree in comparison with the Dorian mode. But this there is I think, but I don't like to speak about music, and there is a melancholic mood. The fugue is my answer, but my very modest answer to the first fugue in C major of the Prelude and Fugues by Shostakovich. The structure, the idea is the same. He used a diatonic major scale, so and only of 7 notes, and there are 7 entries of the subjects and answers. In at the beginning, the dominant, so tonic, dominant, tonic, dominant. But the other 5 entries are without any transposition, also the dominant. But we have only 7 notes. In this case, we have only 7 notes. The Dorian mode is transposed 1 tone down, so is on C, the rag kafi. And in the prelude, what happens? The prelude is also diatonic modal, the same mode, but at the beginning you have the transposition of the modal scale, and then there is like a da capo, a sort of da capo, where the same material is not anymore transposed, but kept on the C. And then there is the mood maybe of the piece of the prelude. That sounds maybe French, I don't know, or maybe also jazz. No, we could. And there are, yes, I don't know if the harmony is quartal, tertian, or maybe I know, but I joke a little bit. But I don't think in these terms. I think there is a 5 plus 6. There is a 2 plus 5 plus 6. There is so from the bass, like continuo, and of course the movement maybe, if I analyze after my composition, would be a little, have a sort of Bach oboe solo from a cantata, something like this, like a diminution of a solo instrument with a tremolo d'archi, restraining bass. Of course, this is the first time I let list in public. Is
Hmm.
a performance made after many hours of organ lessons in Genoa Conservatory on the beautiful Steinway piano from 1970. They have one of the two in the concert hall under the organ where I taught, and this was made with very few editing, and there are also noises from the conservatory. I did another recording, not yet edited with video, but it's the first time you listen it with score. The score is published by Da Vinci Edition, distributed by All Leonards, and I think this is a good piece. I'm quite satisfied also after 2 years, and let's listen.
Let's do it.